Nobody expected Offset to say anything. But the moment those DNA test results surfaced, he didn't stay silent. He smirked. And what he did next? It sent the entire internet into absolute meltdown. Because instead of responding with anger, instead of denying, instead of defending himself, Offset allegedly mocked Cardi B's ex-boyfriend in a way that felt calculated, cold, and brutally intentional. This wasn't a random tweet. This wasn't just petty Instagram shade. This was psychological warfare. Insiders claim the second those results began circulating behind closed doors, Offset knew exactly how to play it. And when a cryptic post hit his story just hours later, fans were convinced it wasn't a coincidence. It was a message, a warning, a victory lap. And here's where it gets messy. Because Cardi wasn't prepared for this move. Sources close to her say she thought the DNA situation would finally silence the rumors, finally shut down the whispers, finally close the chapter between her, Offset, and the man she moved on with. Instead, it detonated everything. The ex-boyfriend at the center of the drama reportedly lost it after seeing Offset's reaction. One insider claims he was humiliated beyond belief. Another says lawyers were immediately contacted. And Cardi? She went completely quiet. No live stream, no rant, no cryptic tweet. Just silence. The kind of silence that means something explosive is brewing behind the scenes. Because this isn't just about a DNA test anymore. It's about ego. It's about legacy. It's about who really won this war and what just leaked from that courtroom. It might change everything we thought we knew. But trust me, the mocking was only the beginning. To understand why Offset's reaction hit like a bomb, you have to understand the battlefield this war was built on. Because this wasn't just some random ex-boyfriend drama. This was years of love, betrayal, power plays, public humiliation, and unfinished business bubbling under the surface, waiting for one spark. And the DNA test? That spark finally lit the match. Let's rewind. Cardi B and Offset didn't just date. They didn't just have a fling. They built an empire in front of the world. From flashy red carpet appearances to explosive breakup announcements, their relationship was always dramatic, always intense, always headline-worthy. They met in early 2017. Within months, they were inseparable. Within months, they were secretly married. And before the world even fully processed it, they were welcoming their first child together. But from the very beginning, cracks were visible. Cheating allegations, cryptic tweets, public apologies, lavish makeup gestures. It became a cycle. Explode, reconcile, explode again. Fans were divided. Some believed their chemistry was undeniable. Others said it was toxic from day one. Then came the separations. Cardi filed for divorce, pulled it back, filed again. Each time, the narrative grew more complicated. And every time she announced she was done, something happened that pulled them back into each other's orbit. And that's where the timeline starts to matter. Because when Cardi filed for divorce and announced she was pregnant almost immediately after, the internet froze. One day she's walking away. The next day she's revealing a pregnancy. People started counting months. Was this Offset's baby? Was it conceived during reconciliation? Was the relationship really over when she said it was? Even though the child was publicly acknowledged as theirs, whispers never stopped. And whispers in celebrity culture? They never die. They just wait. Then came the next chapter. Cardi moved on. Enter the ex-boyfriend at the center of this DNA chaos. A high-profile athlete, successful, disciplined, not known for drama. His public image was controlled, calculated, clean. The complete opposite of the whirlwind lifestyle Cardi and Offset had lived in together. When Cardi went public with him, it felt intentional, almost strategic. She wasn't hiding, she wasn't easing into it. She went courtside, she went red carpet, she went official, and that's when things shifted. Because now it wasn't just Cardi and Offset's messy history. It was Cardi building something new. And when she welcomed a baby with this new man, while still legally entangled with Offset, the situation became legally explosive. Here's what most people didn't understand at the time. In certain states, if you're still legally married when you give birth, your husband can be presumed the legal father. That means even if everyone knows who the biological father is, the law can complicate things. So when the newborn arrived and Offset allegedly posted that now infamous "My Kid LOL" story, the internet didn't treat it like a joke. They treated it like a declaration. Even though his team denied it. Even though the post vanished. Screenshots had already spread. And that's when the narrative began shifting from messy to dangerous. Because this wasn't just gossip anymore. It was legal territory. Court filings started surfacing. Paternity discussions began appearing in legal documents. DNA testing was formally requested. And here's the part that made it even more explosive. The DNA request didn't just involve the newborn. It involved another child from Cardi and Offset's complicated reconciliation timeline. That move, that was personal. From Cardi's perspective, insiders say it felt like betrayal on the deepest level. A man she shared years with. A man she had multiple children with. Now publicly questioning paternity in court. To her supporters, it looked like humiliation. To Offset's defenders, it looked like legal strategy. And to the ex-boyfriend watching from the sidelines, it looked like an attack. Because while the court denied testing on the newborn, the headline still screamed DNA test. And once those words hit social media, everything spiraled. Fans started debating in real time. Why is he questioning now? Is he broke? Is he bitter? Is Cardi hiding something? Then came the quiet leak. According to an anonymous source close to the situation, preliminary DNA results confirmed exactly what Cardi had always claimed. And that's when Offset's alleged mocking began. Instead of retreating, instead of apologizing, instead of staying silent, he leaned in, subtle, calculated, but loud enough for the right people to hear. The ex-boyfriend reportedly felt disrespected beyond measure. One insider claims he believed Offset was trying to undermine his image publicly, especially given the legal technicalities still tying everyone together. And Cardi? She was stuck in the middle of two powerful men, one from her past, one representing her future, clashing over something as intimate as fatherhood. But if you think this was just about paternity, you're missing the bigger picture. This was about power. Offset wasn't just fighting for clarity. He was fighting for control of the narrative. And the DNA results? They didn't end the war. They escalated it. Because what happened after those results quietly circulated behind the scenes is what truly pushed this situation into full-blown chaos. And the next move? Nobody saw it coming. The moment the DNA results were quietly confirmed behind closed doors, something shifted. And no, it wasn't relief. It wasn't peace. It wasn't closure. It was escalation. Because according to insiders, the results confirmed what Cardi had been saying all along. The child in question was exactly who she said it was. No surprises, no dramatic biological bombshell. So, logically, that should have been the end of it. But Offset didn't react the way people expected. He didn't go silent. He didn't issue a statement. He didn't walk back the tension. Instead, he allegedly mocked Cardi's ex-boyfriend. And the way he did it? Subtle enough to deny. Loud enough to sting. Sources claim that within hours of the results being privately acknowledged, Offset posted a cryptic message that read, "Receipts don't lie. Some people just talk too much. No names, no tags, no explanation. But everyone knew exactly who it was aimed at." Because in the weeks leading up to the results, Cardi's ex-boyfriend had reportedly been telling friends that he was done with the drama and that truth would speak for itself. When Offset's post went up, fans immediately connected the dots. Within minutes, screenshots flooded X. Fan pages started dissecting timestamps. Comment sections exploded. Offset laughing again? Why he acting like he won something? Is this shade at Cardi's man? And then came the first twist. An alleged leaked group chat screenshot surfaced, reportedly between members of the ex-boyfriend's inner circle. One message read, "He really think this funny? This ain't over." Another allegedly said, "Lawyers already drafting something." Now, were those messages verified? No. Did that stop the internet from treating them like gospel? Absolutely not. Suddenly, this wasn't just about paternity confirmation, and it became about disrespect. Because according to one entertainment reporter who claims to have spoken with someone close to the athlete, the ex-boyfriend felt publicly humiliated. He feels like Offset is trying to clown him in front of the world, the insider said. It's not about the DNA anymore. It's about pride. And pride? That's dangerous territory when you're dealing with two high-profile men in the public eye. But here's where it gets even messier. Because while fans were busy debating the cryptic posts, another detail slipped out quietly. The court had not only ruled on the DNA testing, it had also issued a non-disparagement warning. That means, legally, both parties were supposed to stop the public jabs. So when Offset posted that cryptic message, some legal watchers started whispering, is he violating the spirit of the order? Meanwhile, Cardi stayed quiet. Too quiet. No Instagram rant, no live meltdown, no tearful confession. Just silence. And insiders say that silence wasn't accidental. She's furious, one source claimed, but she's playing it smart this time. Playing it smart? That's new for this storyline. Because historically, when Cardi felt disrespected, she responded immediately, loudly, emotionally. This time, she let the narrative build, and that made fans nervous. Because when Cardi doesn't react, something bigger is brewing. Then came the nightclub incident. Yes, while all this was unfolding online, Offset reportedly showed up at a Miami club the same night Cardi's ex-boyfriend was rumored to be in town. No confrontation was confirmed. But witnesses claim Offset was laughing with his crew and repeatedly saying, "Told y'all." Again, no video, no audio, just whispers. But in celebrity drama, whispers travel faster than facts. And here's the twist nobody expected. 2 days later, Cardi's ex-boyfriend posted a picture holding his child with a caption that read, "Unbothered, focused, blessed." Simple, calm, controlled. But fans immediately noticed something. Offset liked the post. Yes, he liked it. And then, unliked it minutes later. Too late. Screenshots were already everywhere. Now the narrative turned nuclear. Was that sarcasm? Was that trolling? Was that a digital smirk? Social media went into full meltdown mode. On one viral tweet read, "This is psychological warfare at this point." Another said, "Offset moving like a villain in a Netflix series." And that's when the first real fracture appeared publicly. Because Cardi finally broke her silence, but not in the way anyone expected. Instead of addressing Offset directly, she posted a cryptic message that read, "Clowns only laugh when the circus is watching." No tags, no names. But the timing? Impeccable. Within minutes, hashtags began trending. Hashtag clown energy. Hashtag DNA chaos. Hashtag Offset vs X. And insiders say the ex-boyfriend was not amused. One alleged source claimed he felt the situation was spiraling beyond control and was considering limiting public appearances temporarily to protect his image. Because here's the truth nobody wants to say out loud. This wasn't just personal anymore. It was branding. It was reputation. It was masculinity under a spotlight. Offset's mocking tone, whether subtle or intentional, positioned him as someone unfazed, almost entertained. Meanwhile, Cardi's ex-boyfriend was being dragged into chaos he supposedly never signed up for. And Cardi? She was stuck watching two narratives collide. One she left behind, and one she tried to build fresh. But then came the moment that changed everything. A second alleged legal document began circulating online. Unconfirmed, unverified, but explosive. It suggested that Offset had initially pushed for broader DNA clarification, beyond what was publicly acknowledged. If true, that would mean this wasn't just about one question. It was about planting doubt. Even if the results confirmed paternity, the mere existence of a legal request leaves a permanent mark in public perception. And perception? In celebrity culture, that's everything. So now the question became, was Offset mocking because he lost? Or was he mocking because he knew the seed of doubt had already been planted? Because once people start questioning timelines, once they start counting months, once they start whispering what if, even confirmed results don't fully erase suspicion. And that realization? That might have been Offset's real play all along. But just when fans thought the mocking was the peak of the drama, a late-night livestream clip surfaced. And what was said in those 47 seconds? It might have just taken this entire situation from petty to explosive. The livestream started like any other. Music playing softly in the background, dim lighting, a half-empty glass on the table. Offset looked calm, too calm. But then, around the 47-second mark, everything shifted. He leaned closer to the camera, smirked, and said something that sent shockwaves through social media within minutes. "I don't gotta say much. Truth louder than rumors. Some folks just mad the math ain't mathin' for them." He laughed and cut the stream. That was it. No clarification, no context, just that line. But in a story already fueled by timelines, DNA tests, and public pride, the math ain't mathin' was gasoline on a wildfire. Within seconds, screen recordings were reposted everywhere. X went nuclear. One viral tweet with over 200,000 likes read, "He basically saying somebody thought they won and they didn't." Another wrote, "Why he's still calculating math if the test already confirmed?" And that's when the shocking reveal began to unfold. Because hours later, an alleged entertainment blogger, known for dropping messy exclusives, posted something that changed the narrative completely. According to this blogger's inside source, the DNA test that Offset requested was never about the newborn. It was about the timing of Cardi's previous pregnancy, the one announced immediately after filing for divorce. And here's the twist. The blogger claimed Offset had questioned the timeline privately long before it ever hit court documents. Which means, this wasn't a spontaneous move, it was strategic. If true, that changes everything. Because it suggests that the legal filing wasn't about sudden doubt. It was about long-standing suspicion finally going public. And when that detail hit the timeline, Cardi's silence became even louder. Fans started digging up old interviews. Clips resurfaced of Cardi talking about reconciliation periods. Old paparazzi footage was analyzed frame by frame. Calendar screenshots were circulating like conspiracy boards. Suddenly, this wasn't about mocking an ex-boyfriend. It was about rewriting history. Meanwhile, Cardi's ex-boyfriend reportedly felt blindsided by the livestream comment. An insider allegedly told a sports outlet, "He feels like Offset keeps dragging this to stay relevant. He's done engaging." But here's where it gets messy, because just when the ex-boyfriend tried to distance himself, a private dinner photo leaked. Cardi and her ex-boyfriend were seen leaving a private venue together, looking serious. Not affectionate, not playful. Serious. Fans immediately assumed crisis talks. Then someone noticed something even more explosive. Offset posted a laughing emoji on his story the same night. No caption, just a laughing emoji. Coincidence? The internet didn't think so. Hashtags started trending again. Hashtag math. Ain't mathin'. Hashtag emoji shade. Hashtag Deanna war. But the true escalation came from an unexpected direction. A supposed court-adjacent source claimed that while the test confirmed paternity for the child in question, The judge had reportedly warned both parties about continued public commentary influencing custody discussions. If that's accurate, Offset's livestream comment might not just be petty, it could be risky. And that's when Cardi finally snapped, but not publicly. According to a now-deleted tweet from a verified music journalist, Cardi allegedly confronted Offset through legal channels over the livestream comment. Yes, lawyers were involved, which means this wasn't just social media shade anymore. It was courtroom tension. And then came the real bombshell. Late one night, a blind item surfaced claiming that someone close to Cardi believes Offset never truly wanted clarity. He wanted leverage. Leverage in custody negotiations. Leverage in financial splits. Leverage in narrative control. Because even though the DNA result confirmed what Cardi had always said, the fact that he questioned it publicly leaves a permanent scar. And scars matter in court. But here's the part nobody saw coming. The ex-boyfriend, the one allegedly being mocked, was reportedly considering filing a defamation advisory. Not an official lawsuit yet, but a formal notice warning against continued insinuations. Why? Because in elite athletic contracts, public reputation matters. Sponsors watch everything. And if Offset's math comments are interpreted as suggesting something shady, that could impact endorsement optics. Now suddenly, this wasn't three people in a messy triangle. It was contracts, it was sponsorships, it was millions of dollars. Meanwhile, fans were divided more than ever. Team Offset argued he had every right to verify paternity legally. Team Cardi argued that publicly mocking someone after results is cruel. Team ex-boyfriend argued he never asked to be dragged into this circus. But the biggest shock came early the next morning. Cardi posted a single sentence on her close friend's story that somehow leaked. It read, "Funny how the loudest ones cry first behind closed doors." That sentence flipped everything. Because if Offset is mocking publicly, is he privately frustrated? Is he worried? Is there something else we don't know? And just when the internet thought it had all the puzzle pieces, a source claimed there's one more document sealed from the public. One more detail not yet disclosed. Something that hasn't leaked. Yet. And if that document ever surfaces, it won't just be about math. It won't just be about mocking. It could shift custody. It could shift loyalty. It could shift who the public believes actually won this war. But for now, everyone is pretending to be unbothered. Everyone is posting smiles. Everyone is acting like it's handled. When in reality, this situation is hanging by a thread. And if that sealed detail breaks open, the mocking will look small compared to what comes next. The moment the livestream clip went viral, the internet didn't just react. It split in half. This wasn't casual celebrity gossip anymore. It was a digital civil war. Within hours, fan pages were choosing sides like it was a championship match. Team Offset argued that he had every right to protect himself legally. "DNA tests are facts, not feelings," one viral post read. Another wrote, "If you're married on paper, you verify everything. Period." But Team Cardi, they weren't having it. They flooded timelines with clips of her interviews talking about loyalty, motherhood, and protecting her children from drama. One fan account posted, "He didn't question until she moved on." That says everything. And that post hit over 300,000 likes. Meanwhile, the athlete's fan base, normally quiet and sports-focused, was suddenly dragged into hip-hop chaos. Sports analysts on morning shows began referencing the situation indirectly. One commentator said, "Public controversy isn't ideal during contract negotiations." They didn't say names, but everyone knew exactly who they meant. Because endorsement brands were watching. And when brands watch, executives start whispering. An anonymous industry insider allegedly told an entertainment podcast, "This kind of public mockery can become a liability. Sponsors hate messy narratives." That line alone sent shockwaves. Was this now impacting careers? Then came the celebrity reactions. Subtle, calculated, but loud enough. One well-known rapper tweeted, "Real men handle family business in private. No names." But fans immediately assumed it was directed at Offset. Another artist posted, "Y'all dragging kids into ego battles, SMH." And suddenly, the tone shifted from gossip to morality debate. Now it wasn't just about who was right. It was about who was mature. And that's when something even more unexpected happened. A former collaborator of Offset allegedly liked a comment criticizing his livestream behavior. It was a small digital action, but in this environment, it felt like betrayal. Fans screenshotted it instantly. "Even his circle tired," one tweet read. On the flip side, some hip-hop commentators defended Offset aggressively. "He ain't mocked nobody. Y'all sensitive," one influencer said on a live stream. Another argued, "He asked for a test. He got clarity. He's allowed to laugh." But the laughing part, that's what kept the narrative boiling. Because even if the DNA confirmed paternity, the optics were brutal. Mocking someone after questioning fatherhood publicly felt cold to many observers. And then the feminist debate began. Think pieces started circulating online. Why do men question women publicly instead of privately? Celebrity paternity drama and the humiliation of motherhood. Now the situation wasn't just entertainment. It became symbolic. Cardi was framed by supporters as a woman defending her children while being publicly scrutinized. Offset was framed by critics as weaponizing legal loopholes. And the ex-boyfriend? He was painted as collateral damage, but not everyone agreed. Some fans pointed out that Cardi herself has never been shy about airing grievances publicly. "Now silence convenient?" one viral comment said. And that sparked another firestorm, because Cardi's sudden restraint confused people. Historically, she responds fast and loud. This time, measured, strategic, almost detached. Which led to another theory. Was she preparing something bigger? Meanwhile, radio hosts began joking about DNA season. Late-night comedy accounts made memes about math not mathing. The story had officially entered pop culture parody territory. And once something becomes meme material, it's impossible to control. But here's where industry whispers grew darker. An alleged label executive commented anonymously, "When personal chaos overshadows music cycles, it becomes a distraction. And marketing teams hate distractions." Was this impacting album rollouts, tour momentum, endorsement deals? Nobody confirmed it. But the speculation alone created tension. And just when it felt like the narrative might cool down, a trending hashtag appeared unexpectedly. #release. The document fans were now demanding the alleged sealed court detail be made public. They weren't satisfied with livestream shade. They wanted receipts. And when fans demand receipts in 2026, they dig. Old clips resurfaced again. Podcast interviews were dissected word by word. Even body language analysts on TikTok joined the conversation. "This smile isn't genuine," one creator claimed while analyzing Offset's livestream pause. Millions of views later, that analysis became part of the narrative. Now even facial expressions were evidence. And in the middle of this explosion, Cardi's final move of the week stunned everyone. She posted a polished, glamorous photo with her caption simply reading, "Peace greater than petty." No emojis, no shade, just that. Fans debated for hours. Was that strength? Or was that a warning? Because sometimes the calmest statement hides the loudest storm. And while the public argued endlessly about who looked worse, there was one person noticeably silent. The ex-boyfriend. No posts, no interviews, no shade, just complete digital blackout. And in celebrity culture, silence can be more powerful than any live stream. Because when someone powerful goes silent, it usually means the next move isn't going to be online. It's going to be calculated. And if that next move happens, this entire situation won't just trend for a weekend. It will explode into something far bigger than mocking. Just when the internet thought this was peaking. Just when fans believed the mocking, the live stream shade, The cryptic captions and the industry whispers were the final act. Something happened behind closed doors. And this time, it wasn't social media. It wasn't a meme. It wasn't a blind item. It was legal. According to a source close to the proceedings, there was a private emergency discussion held between legal representatives on both sides just days after the livestream clip went viral. Not public, not scheduled months in advance. Emergency. That word alone sent quiet shockwaves through industry insiders. Why emergency? Because allegedly, and this is where it gets explosive, the livestream comment may have triggered concerns about influencing public perception ahead of custody negotiations. And custody? That's where things get serious. Up until now, this war felt like ego, like pride, like petty digital chess. But custody changes the tone. Now we're talking about legal rights, financial obligations, who controls what narrative around the children. And insiders claim that during that emergency conversation, Cardi's legal team raised concerns that Offset's public math commentary could be interpreted as continued insinuation, even after the results were confirmed. Which means this isn't over. Because here's the twist nobody saw coming. A rumored clause in the court documentation allegedly allows either party to revisit custody structure if public behavior is deemed destabilizing. If true, Offset's mocking tone may have been emotionally satisfying, but legally dangerous. And that's when the biggest rumor of all surfaced late Sunday night. A blind item from a major gossip account claimed that someone involved in this triangle has been quietly documenting every public post, every live stream, every caption, building a timeline file. Not for fans, for court. Now imagine that. Screenshots not for clapbacks. Screenshots for judges. If that's happening, this situation just moved from entertainment to strategy warfare. But here's the part that changes everything. Remember the sealed document fans have been screaming about? The one trending under hashtag release the document? And a source claims that it doesn't contain new DNA results. It contains a timeline clarification. And if that clarification ever becomes public, it could prove that someone's math comment wasn't random. It could suggest that there were private doubts long before public ones. And if that's true, the mocking wasn't reactionary. It was premeditated. Meanwhile, insiders say the ex-boyfriend is no longer considering public statements at all. He's reportedly focused on something else entirely, protecting contractual optics and shielding his image from ongoing speculation, which means his silence isn't weakness, it's calculation. And Cardi? She's allegedly preparing something that isn't a rant. It isn't a tweet. It's controlled, structured, possibly interview level. Because sources claim she's tired of reacting. She wants one definitive statement that shuts down the narrative permanently. But here's the problem. In celebrity culture, nothing shuts down permanently, especially when pride is involved, especially when mocking enters the equation, and especially when two powerful men feel like their reputations are being challenged publicly. Now here's the chilling part. A well-connected entertainment reporter hinted during a podcast that another development is expected within weeks, something tied directly to financial restructuring in the divorce proceedings. If finances get tied to public behavior, if custody gets influenced by livestream shade, if endorsement deals start feeling heat, the mocking that seemed funny in the moment may become the spark that costs someone millions. And if that happens, this entire DNA drama won't be remembered as petty internet chaos. It'll be remembered as the moment pride outweighed strategy. Right now, everyone is pretending this is contained. Offset is laughing, Cardi is calm, the ex-boyfriend is silent. But behind the scenes, lawyers are watching, brands are watching, judges are watching. And if one more live stream slips, if one more cryptic caption crosses the line, if that sealed detail ever leaks, this won't just be about mocking someone after a DNA result. It will become the turning point in a divorce that reshapes careers, custody, and public loyalty forever. And something tells me, we haven't seen the final move yet. Because in wars like this, The loudest laugh usually comes right before the hardest fall. And the next update, it could flip the entire board. Stay ready. So now I need to ask you something. Was this just petty internet trolling? Or was this calculated psychological warfare disguised as a laugh? Because let's be honest, DNA tests don't usually end wars. They expose them. And in this case, they may have revealed way more than anyone expected. Offset laughed. Cardi stayed calm. The ex-boyfriend went silent. But silence doesn't mean peace. It means something is loading. And here's what makes this even crazier. If that sealed document ever surfaces, if custody negotiations really are being influenced behind the scenes, if brands start quietly pulling back, this entire situation could explode into something far bigger than a mocking comment. So, I want to know what you think. Was Offset justified in asking for clarity and reacting how he did? Or did he cross a line by publicly mocking someone after the results were confirmed? And here's the real question nobody wants to answer. If the roles were reversed, would the internet be reacting the same way? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Don't hold back. Because this story is far from over. Insiders are hinting at another development coming soon. Something legal, something financial, something that could completely shift who looks like the villain and who looks like the victim. If you think this is the final chapter, you haven't been paying attention. Make sure you like this video if you want the next update the second it drops. Subscribe right now because when that next move happens, and trust me, it will, you're not going to want to hear about it from someone else. The math might not be mathing today, but the scoreboard, it's still counting.